Was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. Come on now, shake it real fast. You better enjoy, cause it's the motherfucking last. 2017 was my first Umar video. Didn't even know that it created scenarios. One was a blessing, was a motherfucking curse. The fucking video put the AFW on alert. Everybody a lawyer without a law degree. Everybody a goddamn accountant without no money. Everybody a goddamn teacher never taught at a school. Everybody a fucking therapist on that like a fucking fool. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. Come on now, shake it real fast. You better enjoy, cause it's the motherfucking last. In 2020, an elder told me to leave the sector. It didn't do any good, didn't make it any better. August 2020, the damn school didn't open. I had to apologize, damn right, I had spoken. The same year seen a new cast of supporters. I was revitalized, so I had to start it over. Teamed up with niggas that like to play dirty and take shots. Now the good guys got the fucking block hot. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. Come on now, shake it real fast. You better enjoy, cause it's the motherfucking last. 2023 was fucked up from the start. Beef with pussy ass niggas from the damn start. Fuck an AFW, fuck a DBA. Fuck a nigga named Remix in his trifling ass way. Fuck a nigga from the truck to shake his ass to get paid. Fuck that bitch ass nigga from Atlanta that bail. I'm the motherfucking godfather, motherfucking bag. Last but not least, I'm the motherfucking go rock out. Woo! Come on, ladies in the sector, shake that ass if you listen to this shit right now. Come on, shake it real fast. Come on, shake it real fast, cause it's the motherfucking last. Go low, twerk it. Come on, girl, shake it side to side. Come on. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. Come on now, shake it real fast. You better enjoy, cause it's the motherfucking last.
Welcome everybody. How are you all doing on this Sunday night? This is D. Durrell broadcasting from the D. Durrell sector and also broadcasting from D. Durrell Live. Hope everybody is having an excellent day today. Shout out to everybody that went out and to my other channel, D. Durrell Life Solutions, and that supported me in doing my review of the movie Adolescence, giving my professional perspective on that particular show. Shout out to everybody that was over there that checked that channel out. Appreciate you all for supporting that channel. Plan to do more things on that channel. Now, we're going to get to what I want to talk about. There's several things that I want to talk about. This particular show today And I'm gonna send the link out. Anybody want to come out and chop it up with the Godfather, you can. Um, I hope everybody again has had an excellent Sunday, excellent Saturday, excellent weekend. There's been a lot going on in the goddamn sector. Shout out to Remix Revenge up in this goddamn house. Shout out to NC Worker up in here. And so we're gonna talk on a lot of different things going on in the Umar sector. I'm gonna touch on some things going on in the Manosphere sector and shit like that. We're gonna talk about a little bit of the Remix and Lemon situation. And like I said, Remix, look, I we talked about this on the last show, Remix. I don't know if you caught that last one about Lemon. I don't know what the fuck going on with Lemon. You know, I really don't have no issues with Lemon. But if Lemon can criticize the sector, then the sector can criticize Lemon. That's I can just put it like that now. As far as me going back and forth and got heat for Lemon and all that shit. Oh yeah, I know you can play dirty and you will play dirty. You will play dirty. So listen, I told people, you fuck with this Umar sector. This is a small sector. This is a close-knit sector. This is a sector that ain't got no heart. This is a sector that ain't got no mercy. That's why a lot of people don't fuck with us. They don't fuck with us because of the dirty ass shit that we will do. And listen, I'm gonna sit there and watch, and if I got something to say, I got something to say. If I ain't got nothing to say, I ain't got nothing to say. I'm gonna see how the shots gonna go fired either way. You know, that's pretty much all I gotta say with this. There's people in this sector that rock with Lemon hard. Listen, I ain't know who the hell Lemon was until Binary. I didn't know who Brianna was until Binary. I didn't know who Ness was because I wasn't even watching. I only knew of a few people in the beef sector. I knew of Tracy. I knew of S. Hutchison. I knew of the Oracle. T. Locity to T whatever, T Miss T something. I knew of a few people. I didn't know of a lot of people, but I knew of a few. I knew Cookie was up in here also that was in the beef sector, but I wasn't, I was never a fan of the beef sector like that. And not to say I didn't care for the content creators, because as I got to know people, there's people I rock with, definitely. But I just wasn't, that just was a realm I was not trying to have my name attached to. Up until the shit with Binary, and of course Shot Kim and everybody came in there, and the sector came and did their thing. So my position is on this, okay? I will be watching. I will have opinions if some things I feel I need to talk about, and that's the furthest I'm taking it. Like I'm going to discuss things that I think is worth discussing, and I'm gonna discuss some things if something ain't worth discussing. Now, Remix, and let's be real, nigga. You know I don't fuck with the people that fuck with you. I do not fuck with them niggas, Remix. That's why you don't see me dropping down. The last time I dropped down in your chat, Remix, these niggas was coming at me crazy. And listen, I understand, you know, I ain't trying to do the ghost situation where I'm trying to jump on panels with 3-4 niggas coming at me on some bullshit. That's not my ministry. I'm not trying to go to Smoke Channel and got 2-3 niggas up there trying to do whatever. Remix, get your money. I know you getting your money. Go ahead and get your money. Get your money. Get your money. Go and get your money. I ain't hating you for getting your money. I just can't fuck with the people that fuck with you. That's what it is. I just can't, and I'm not. But I ain't got no issues with you. Me and you good, but I just can't fuck with the people you fuck with. And listen, I know they paying you. I know they giving you, taking care of you. That they got the, you know, they taking care of the wallet. Hey man, I can't hate you for taking opportunities if they present themselves. Now, okay, West Bank BDA say not to deflect, D. Durrell, what happened to Monty Woodgrain? Dude was founding father of this sector. Uh, I never really considered Monty Woodgrain really a founding father of the sector, because Monty Woodgrain wasn't necessarily fucking with the sector like that. Now, was he doing, Umar skits and all that kind of shit? And uh, I used to go at little Monty Woodgrain back in the day, talking crazy and shit. But we cool. Like I ain't got no, you know, I ain't, I ain't got no real issues with Monty. Now, back in the day, in my heyday, oh man, I used to go, man, I used to try to go at little, me and Monty had a little brief little situation, but it wasn't nothing to be really, it wasn't really all that. Monty was going hard at other people, and that's what it was. But I don't know what's up with Monty. Maybe Monty got a real job. Monty got shit going on with his family, and he just ain't doing no more fucking YouTube videos. That's probably what happened to Monty. I have no idea. Not really my thing to be worrying about Monty Woodgrain. Let's just keep that, real. No idea at all. Okay. Now, let's talk about the issues that happened today. Now, as we all seen, Mr. Binary Code fam, Mr. Binary Code, obviously back during the morning show. He got a fire intro, definitely nice, intro and everything like that. I saw it. I was impressed. You know, I think that, it's, to me, be honest with you, lyrically, as far as production that I've heard Binary do in the past, this particular intro is by far his best work lyrically and on the mic. That's just me. I think that it's pretty cool, and he released it. I think it was cool how he released it, and I'm gonna look forward to watching Binary morning shows. Matter of fact, I just had a conversation earlier today, with somebody when I was talking about the fact that, or it was yesterday. I had a conversation about Binary typically does this at certain times of the year where he will go live and he will come back. He'll tease the sector with his presence, and then before you know it, he back doing videos again, and that's what he doing. So he on this thing with Ness and Shakim Raw. I'm kind of behind on that because I don't really watch Ness like as much as I used to. I don't even watch YouTube period as much as I used to, and I've been out of the network over the past couple of weeks. And obviously, Binary is trying to stir some shit up as usual, and we're gonna see where that goes. But he had a lot of people coming over, checking him out, on him talking about the little beef sector situations. I don't know what's up with him and this. He didn't comment on he did not comment on Lemon, because I know Lemon was somebody that he fucked with. But Binary doing his thing. Shout out to YouTube cameras. What's up, Queen? How you doing? Shout up to my little nephew, my godson, Propane Oaklane, saying the sector will always be alive even when it's dead. I feel you on that. That's what's up. I see Miss Things up in the house. Shout out to you in here. Remix talking about when I'm gonna get them Godfather donations. Hey man, the Godfather donations are there. I sporadically give them out. I kind of closed the wallet up a little bit when niggas start criticizing the Godfather for giving $200 here, $300 here, $400 here, $500, $150, and so I got tired of having to explain why I'm giving money to people. Believe it or not, I had to literally explain why I give money to people. So who the fuck are you all to be criticizing a nigga for supporting somebody? Like I'm not doing that. Now that was one reason why I did not ingratiate myself into the beef sector as much as I could have. Man, right now, guys, I had a chance when I was doing some of that beef sector content. I could have been. I did two beef sector videos, and I had over 200 people watching me. Okay, I interviewed with one of the big dogs in the beef sector. Caused controversy. My name got into all kinds of shit. Wasn't trying to beef with nobody because I wasn't coming in there to beef yet. Then my name was on Treasure Lane. My name just circulated 100 times. People learning who I am. I could not go to a beef sector channel unless or go into the chat without somebody greeting me. Hey, what's up? Hit that cash app for me, D, and all that shit. I was laughing. I thought the shit was funny as fuck. I had fun with it, but I wasn't trying to beef with the ladies like that. I was not. I was just trying to learn the sector, be a supporter, talk my shit, support binary. So even was trying to fuck with Shakim, but Shakim for some reason, like despite all that fucked up shit he did, like dude, like obviously he want me to be like talking shit about him. So that's what it is. We could never, like, this nigga still mad about Flacco. So like, nigga, let that shit go. Let that shit go. Nigga, again, I think it was his birthday. Nigga was begging for money, and all this other shit that he typically would do, going live, and I guess they fucking with him. Really, and he's on these panels. The nigga came out. Okay, you came out and said that you're bisexual. Like, who really gives a fuck? I don't care. Like, it was not new news to us, but it was new news to them. But he actually was official there. We was calling this shit since 2020. So, since 21. We was calling this shit since 21. So, I really don't give a shit. Like literally speaking, I really don't give a fuck if what Shakim doing with his time. That's his time. That's his time. Hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. 2023 was a bitch, nigga. Ladies in the sector, shake that ass like this. Come on now, shake it real fast. You better enjoy, cause it's the motherfucking last. 2017 was my first Umar video. Didn't even know that it create many scenarios. What was a blessing was a motherfucking curse. The fucking video, but they
All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had a little brief situation I had to go deal with and everything. So I'm back. Propane say mean time in between time. Shout out to the us. Shout out to the us. Yeah, man. Look, man. I'm be honest with you. I would like the sector to tell me how you all feel about Binary going live again on his morning show. I actually like Binary morning show. I thought it was cool. But I had a feeling that this was coming because basically this is how Binary really operate. Binary, so is very strategic in the way he interacts with others, and everything that Binary does is for a reason. He's not just going live for nothing. And I understand, he's doing things in the confines of what his wife is okay with him doing. She don't want his ass on this shit full time, all the time, which I understand that, and I know how that shit is. I've definitely myself toned down my YouTube, you know, exposure for reasons. And so this is the video here. I'm gonna play the video, man. And for those that didn't check it out, I'm gonna go ahead and
Good morning, YouTube. It's the morning show. Wake up, wake up. Good morning, YouTube. It's the morning show. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Yeah, it's the morning show. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Yeah. You know it's B-Code, straight from Arizona, nigga, at the barbecue. Sipping on Corona, nigga, but that's later. Now it's time to start the morning show. Wake your ass up, that's right, you know it's time to go. Got my coffee, got my bagel, got my laptop, all my snacks, all the essentials to make my show pop. Going through my email, trying to stay awake and meet it. Seen the notification, B-Sector nigga still beefing, still tweaking, still roasting, still doxing, but still subbing, cash apping, super chatting. They know how to make the money flow. It's a formula, if you don't get it, you will never know. The game is to be sold and never told, or just given out. The cloud is forever gold, meaning that's the currency for longevity. Prosperity is not necessarily money, but it's integrity. It ain't really what you do, but really who like you. Right or wrong, their biases will defend you. Stand on your own, in the end, that's all you can do. Control your docket and create your own menu. It's binary beat code in the morning show. Buckle up and enjoy the ride, cause here we go. It's binary beat code in the morning show. Buckle up and enjoy the ride, cause here we go. Good morning, YouTube. It's the morning show. Good morning, YouTube. It's the morning show. Good morning, YouTube. It's the morning show. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the morning show. Good morning, YouTube. It's the morning show. Good morning, YouTube. It's the morning show. Good morning, YouTube. It's the morning show. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the morning show.
Go. Go. What? Hey, man.
It's the morning show.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, man. Like, now some of y'all can say, hey, you know, look, man, look, for those that are in the industry working, we ain't trying to be on the level. Y'all haters, man. Look at Carrie Ann. Almost as bad as Tim. Y'all need to stop. Propane said this is his first time hearing it. Yeah, like I think it's pretty cool. Rizzo Lyricist say he think the intro is too long. The intro is actually 2 minutes. So using an intro, you may want 45 minute, 30 minute. Maybe I think maybe one 16 bar was enough. I could understand that. You know, living life to the fullest. Say she feeling it. Now remix, man, you wrong. Remix say you need to hire a ghostwriter, hire Propane. Man, look. At least he ain't have identity. At least he ain't have identity writing this shit. That would have been a fucking travesty. When you got this nigga here, man. At least he ain't have identity writing this shit. So as long as identity wasn't writing this shit, I'm good. You know, this nigga right here with no neck. He had his nigga with no neck. Long as he didn't have that nigga writing his shit. This nigga right here with no neck talking, that nigga coming back. And it's funny, man. Look. Look, man. Look. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Now, others may not be feeling it. Look, everybody got a right to like what you like, hate what you hate. I can fuck with it. I can fuck with it. Listen, I'm not, listen, coming from somebody whose music has gotten criticized, I'm not the best rapper. I got the flow. I got a good, voice per se. I'm more of a singer than rapper. That's obvious. My production, as far as singing and rapping, is totally different. I put more into songs than when I rap. I do, and it figures because my biggest hits were really not the 2020. Even though people like the 2020 was a bitch, 2021, 22, 23, all that kind of shit. You know, people still fucking with it's nowhere near smoke holes and happy endings, and some of the other shit that I've done. Damn, he's gonna say, Darrell, do you do have sector hits? Binary has stop, man. Come on, look, man. I'm fucking with that. And Carrie Ann was brutal with TMK, not as bad as TMK. Y'all are brutal, man. Yeah, we're gonna hit the link. Aaron Woodward Experience on X. I'm gonna send the link out, man. I'm gonna send a little link out. Let y'all chop it up with me. I'm gonna be on for maybe another hour, so we can definitely chop it up. I'm gonna send it out for you. Propane say the 2020 songs has their own lane. Miss Thang say the only person who said it was cheers for every man, no matter what, especially. So that's the link. Aaron, if you want the link, whoever this guy named Aaron is, anybody else that want to come chop it up with D Darrell, you can come and do that shit. Shout out to Miss T Pre, queen of the goddamn sector, the godmother T Pre in the goddamn house. She laying low, she doing her thing. She say, I got money to make in real life. I ain't got time to be fucking with you niggas. I got real money to be making in real life. Look, man, I'm going to say this. I want to make a comment on the bullshit that happened between Pills and I know what that shit caught me off guard. Like, I ain't even know the heat between whatever. That was their first time. I would have thought they had some kind of interaction, but that shit threw me off on Friday. That shit really threw me the fuck off. I was like, what the fuck? Like, next thing you know, these niggas cursing each other. I literally had to sit both of their asses down. Cause I was like, what the fuck? But that threw me out Saturday night. Saturday night was a fun live. I went live for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Everything went well on that. I think that was pretty cool. Remix said, why Pills attacked the queen like that? I'm disappointed. He didn't really attack her. She went at his ass first. And she just told this nigga, she just felt like this nigga be pussy popping around the sector. And that threw me the fuck out. What's up, man? What's up, Mikey?
Chilling.
Chilling. I got you doing your thing.
Hey, what you think about they talking about that slander, the white dude?
Okay, I'm gonna get to that. Now, before I get to that person, I'm gonna talk about when he hosted the funeral for drama for Mr. Antonio. The nigga with a horn on his head. This nigga here. We gonna talk about that shit. This nigga. So I'm gonna say this, guys. I want you to know that behind the scenes, Mikey, there have been rumblings for years that Slander God was a white man. Okay, did you ever hear that before from anybody, Mikey?
I mean,
you did or didn't?
No, for me, nah.
Okay.
But look, from me being from the neighborhood, the voice got to match the face. If it doesn't,
yeah, but in 2023, man, 2025, man, people can sound, non-blacks can practice and rehearse sounding.
I tell you this, right?
That it is not a definite thing.
No, I tell you this, right? I did a phone call, right? Let's say to pay my bill. or whatever. The person thought I was white because the way I was
Okay,
sounding.
everybody's saying you got an echo, brother.
No, that's
I
not
don't
me.
hear an echo, but let you out and let you back. Give me a second. Okay, so y'all telling me that Mikey got an echo, so I'm gonna put him back on you.
Yo, yo.
Okay, go ahead, bro. I'm gonna let you go again. See how they go.
Yo, yo.
Yeah, go ahead.
I hear the echo too.
Now
I hear
you
it on
hear
my
the
side.
echo?
I hear it on my side. Hold on.
Okay. I tell you what, Mikey. This is what I want you to do. I
How
want
about, how
you
about now?
to come back in, and he's stupid too. Carry Ed style. Let me take you out, and you come back in. Okay. 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 Carry Ed taste. Look, man, y'all brutal in the chat, man. Y'all are so brutal in the chat. Look, now let's talk about Slander God. Now y'all know that if for people that have known me, when this sector first started, I'm pro-black. When I say I'm pro-black, I mean I'm pro-black. I live pro-black. I'm really for all the non-black people in our
Oh,
sector.
you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me finish saying this, and then I'm gonna let you rock. I'm not against. Now this is supposed to be a black sector, and I can't. At one time in the infant stage of the Umar sector, there was a lot of pro-black rhetoric. Now, as the sector grew and became more of the, instead of Umar sector, the sector itself, you got people from other races that are here. I'm not really saying that I'm against it, but I'm indifferent about it. You got people like Muslim that ran around here talking crazy. And you saw what happened. And he's one of the prime reasons why I don't really care for non-black people being here. You got people like Stephanie Collins. I don't really have an issue with Stephanie Collins. You got people like Al Lanier, who's actually Hawaiian, claiming that he's biracial. He's not. That Negro is all Hawaiian, and I consider him a non-black also. And we've seen the things that he's done. So just like in other spaces where I've seen non-black people come in here, they have a tendency to be disrespectful. And I don't come on YouTube. If I wanted to be disrespected by other groups of people, I can fucking log off and deal with that in real life. I don't come online where we're supposed to be a space that's for us, and I still got to deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, he claimed he have, but living life. He claimed that he half black, but it is what it is. Now go ahead, Mikey. What were you about to say?
So yeah, me making a phone call, trying to pay my bill, whatever's the case. The person thought I was white. You know what I mean? Because okay, you yourself as a person, you have different voices or how you speak over the phone or visually. People would think, oh, I thought, you was this, but until I seen you, it's different.
Okay, what's different about it?
Okay, like let's say I never camped up or whatever, right? And all you heard was my voice. You would think I'll be white or mixed, right?
No, you don't sound. No, I don't think you white at all. Nothing about you
But
says
but
whiteness.
but when you talk over the phone, like let's say you're trying to pay a bill or something, people will think that.
Okay. Well, I don't think that.
I mean, I understand you
I'm
wouldn't
just
think
telling
that.
you, man.
I understand,
I don't think.
I understand you wouldn't think that, but I would think that until I see
Slander
that
said,
person.
listen, the brother said that he was biracial, but he basically claimed being black, and I just left it at that. So I never questioned slander. Now, do I know that due to the behind the scenes BS that go on, there were people who at the same time was trying to dox Laquan Fisher and dox um um Antonio Johnson. They were also trying to dox Slander God too. I know this for a fact. There are people who were chopping at the bits to expose Slander God. Now, was that, I ain't one to be like, that ain't my ministry. I ain't got time and I have no interest
I mean, there
in
was.
doxing and exposing anybody trying to prove what race they are or what they not. So is that picture Slander God? I have no idea. To me, I'm gonna have to say nay unless they put a real name to it. Because my position is that if that's his picture, then you got to say what is his real name, first and last name, on are the means in which you found that picture. Because through his name, you can verify, you can validate whether he's telling the truth or not. I don't know who the fuck that is. There are softwares where you can put that picture in, and they can find out who it is. But I
That's
don't know.
true.
My position is I don't think it's him.
Yeah, that's software. You could see who that person is. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you can, but I don't know what. Yeah, where does the photo come from?
Okay, like
I
let's
have no
say, like let's
idea
say,
where the
like let's
photo
say
come
some,
from.
like let's say somebody, or let's say I do, and Google that photo to see who that person is, and it's not slander. Who's the fool?
I mean, who's the fool? I don't know. Whoever believes is him. I have no idea.
I mean,
Now,
the fool who put it up.
I do feel y'all on this. Um, Now, Living Life said, I like Slant. I don't care what he looks like. Now, I don't really care what he looks like, but I do care if he white or black. Because this nigga throw nigga around and say, you speak amongst us and speak our jargon. And I don't take kind to people who are not black to speak and say certain racial things that we say.
I
And
mean,
unfortunately, I've been in other sectors where people
he
pretend to
got,
be black so that they can get away with saying that shit.
he got, he
And I
got.
take and
Look,
I find that very disrespectful. I find that very disrespectful. Um, so
he got
I
some
don't
nigga
have an
in him.
issue with
Come
how I
on.
don't care how the brother look,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I do care if he is a white man pretending to be black, coming in here talking shit and saying racial shit to black people to get a kick out of it with him and his friends laughing that he got the, he can get away with calling black,
I
black
mean,
people
that's
niggas and this and
allegedly.
that
That's
and saying it
allegedly. That's
casually
allegedly. That's
as if he
allegedly.
black, then I have a problem with that.
That's
I have a
allegedly,
problem
dude.
with that.
That's allegedly. Man.
Now
Come
I
on.
don't know what the hell it is. No one said Creole Angel Hair Pasta that we have a problem with him being biracial. Biracial is not white. Biracial is not non-black. Okay, I have a problem with the fact that he's not black at all. That's the problem I have. Just like I had a problem with Muslim. I'm consistent. I'm consistent. I really don't care for non-black people being in this space. I really don't. Um, they are not my priority. Matter of fact, I try to be as cordial and civil, but as far as me doing content and shutting them out and all that stuff, like, and to be honest with you, let's say somebody like Stephanie Collins. I don't have any issues with Stephanie Collins. However, my interaction with Stephanie Collins would not be the way I interact with everybody else. If Stephanie Collins was to leave the sector today or tomorrow, I would never bring it up and it would not be of any value to me. And I've talked to Stephanie offline on some business, real business. Okay. And I would deal with her just like I deal with anybody that's non-black in real life. I'm cordial, I'm respectful. I don't necessarily talk to people that are non-black for recreational and just kicking it and hanging out, small talk. If it's not something productive or something benefits me or something that's relative to me in my life, we really ain't got much to talk about.
Now, me
That's just
personally,
how
look.
I operate.
No, I understand. But me personally, I love.
Are you deaf, Creole, Angel Hair Pasta? Nobody said that biracial does not mean non-black. I never stated that. I stated that whether or not I understood that he was biracial, but the fact of if he's white, he's non-black. Biracial people who are mixed with black are not non-black. Those are two different things. Okay. And I'll go and even say, in my opinion, um, I look at biracial people as being black. Okay, and a lot of people in these sectors don't agree with that. But in real life, in my real life, people who are biracial, I don't know many biracial people who act like they not black. I don't. Now, some of them have issues with being black, with how they're being treated or fitting in. But most of them, for the part, most biracial people I know, if I ask them, I know you mixed. Are you black? I'm black, but I'm mixed. That's what I get. Now, that's my experience. I hear people saying there are biracial people that will not say that they black. They'll say that I'm biracial. But what I don't get, and see, this is the issue I have. I never hear a biracial person just say I'm white. I never have heard a biracial person in my life say that they were white, not black. But I have heard biracial people who say they black and not white. That's just me. Now, that's my experience. But with that being said, guys, my position is that I don't know if that picture is him because they didn't put a name to the face. If they put his real name to the face, then I would say, okay, this is his name. This is who he is. This is who he is. We can validate that. But I really don't have an opinion on the picture because I don't know if that's him. Just because, and you guys got to look at the sources. You know, let's not act like some of these people are necessarily the most credible motherfuckers around to be putting out a picture allegedly just to say, oh, that's him. Like, I can't buy that. That's just not enough for me.
So basically, you're saying they using Jedi mind trick.
Well, I'm not saying it's a jet. All I'm saying is
that don't even make no sense.
They just took a picture and said this is slander. Okay. What does that mean? Am I supposed to just assume you telling the truth because you took a picture without saying when using and the sector as well as the sector docs the fuck out of people? They put name, profession, where the nigga work, where he live. You know, as much as detailed as people docs in this sector, are you just gonna put a picture out and expect me to jump? No, I'm not. That's not enough. What's up, Carrie?
Hey, I think I hear an echo on my thing too.
Hold on.
Maybe you need to go out and back in.
I muted him. Can you hear now? Are you good now?
I still hear an echo.
Hold on.
Hello? I don't hear it now. Yeah, it was you, D. Darrell.
Am I the echo?
When you muted, I didn't hear it. Yeah, I don't hear it now.
Okay, go ahead and rock. I'm gonna just be on.
Okay, yeah. So obviously we've had this discussion many times before about what it means to be black, and I don't think there's a need to rehash that. At the end of the day, it's an opinion, right? There's no biological definition of what it means to be black. So this is like culturally defined, right? Are you with me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm letting you go. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah. So what I would add to that though is that I've heard that it's actually another form of white supremacy where if you said biracial people will never say that they're just white, and that's because white people are perfectly comfortable gatekeeping their whiteness, and
Facts.
they'll tell them you're not white, and biracial people will respect that. But if black people tell biracial they're not black, they feel like they higher than black people and they can argue with us, but they won't try to argue with white people. Like, they'll take the white man's word and respect it. But if
That
we
is
say
true.
no, we're gatekeeping our identity, they'll tell us, nigga, shut up. You don't know, I tell you. So it's a form of disrespect, actually.
Okay. So, and I do agree with that. The fact of the matter is that the conversation, when they're not going around saying that they're white, because they know that they can't. They have issues in there, and it's easier for them to blend in to our community as opposed to the white community. Now, the reason why I have my position, because I'm looking at it from systemically how it was utilized in slavery. This whole thing about saying you biracial, they didn't have a choice back in the day. And these people
Right.
were enslaved just like anybody else. They were treated as black. They were, so for me, I'm not trying to understand where all of a sudden, because somebody coined the term biracial, all of a sudden it's giving you some freedom, as if you're not getting any social, you're not getting any economic or sociological benefits outside of people in certain industries preferring to see your face on a screen or on a video.
I don't
And
agree
that's
with
not
that. I think
that's
that there's
not real
always been
benefits.
a colorism.
Those are not real benefits. But so,
Well, I did a
but
study about this on my channel where we talked about a woman's chances of getting married increase as her skin becomes lighter. There are economic benefits to having lighter skin and appearing more white in a white supremacist society. And that's not just
so you're telling me your study saying that black men are more likely to marry a lighter skinned woman than a dark skinned woman?
Absolutely.
Based on what?
That's a study that's been duplicated many times.
By who? Because I
By,
gotta
like,
read that.
Yeah, I'll put the video back up. I already had this whole discussion.
The reason why I'm saying that, because the information, when I look at racial disparities as it relates to what is, as far as, even though they're not, to me, in my opinion, there's not a lot of reputable, in my opinion, for my standard, there's not a lot of reputable studies on this, but I'm looking at sample size.
No, this is a study that was done in Boston and Philadelphia. I don't remember all the details.
But it don't matter where it's at. If that sample size and the method that they collected that data is not to my liking, I'm not even reading the
So,
research.
D-Darrell, what I'm going to say to you is that I'm nobody's sociologist, but this wasn't just some magazine I found on Essence. So let me finish my thought.
Your point. I'm not arguing your point.
I know. I just want to. Okay.
No, but I would like to read what you have too. But what I'm stating is that that the stuff that I have read was not good. Most of it was not good research. That's just me. Most of the stuff that I said, I felt that the sample sizes were not big enough, and there was with the research, what we call research
methodology,
reliability, content or research reliability wasn't there. That's just
so
me.
what I'm telling you is, right, what I'm telling you is, I'm no sociologist, but the studies that I found were at least somewhat credible. Could you find some problems with the methodology? Fine, but it wasn't just some bullshit is all I'm saying. They had done this over a large sample size. It had been longitudinal. It had taken place in different areas. It was volunteer bias accounted for.
Longitudinal, like how many years? Like 10 years or something?
No, it was at least 20, 30 years.
20, 30 years?
Yeah, and I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but when I did this conversation on colorism, I really looked into it. And no, this is something that's been researched, particularly the thing with how colorism affects a Black woman's chance of marriage. That's well substantiated.
Now, Carrie Ann, you also understand that there are far more darker skinned women than lighter skinned women.
Well, doesn't that make the change even more prominent? The idea that men are sometimes seeking lighter skinned wives, and the reasons and the I look. I'm not going to argue with you whether or not
No, no,
colorism
I'm not trying to
exists.
argue. I'm just looking at probability because
No, but
research
to me,
deals
what
with
I'm saying is
probability.
right, and what I'm saying is even in the space of that, I mean, I think that lighter and lighter skin becomes more prevalent with every generation, right? There were
Okay.
certainly fewer light skinned people 50 years ago than there are today, right? But at the same time, I don't think that it's really arguable that there's colorism and dark skinned men in particular have a preference for lighter skinned women. I don't even think that's worthy of discussion. I think that's well known.
That is arguable. Because then you're gonna do you have a sample size of darker skinned men? Because what you see on TV is not representative of the total aggregate of black men that are dark skinned like myself that choose to marry darker or lighter skinned women. What I can say, Carrie Ann, there's definitely research that shows black men who are of a certain social economical level having a tendency to marry lighter skinned women or date interracial. Now that's tons of research on that.
Right.
But if you want to look at the total, that like to me, to be honest with you, there is, as far as black men who make six figures on up, the likelihood of them marrying lighter skinned women is astronomical as it relates to other men of equal economic status dating outside their race and so on. So I
agree. I think both of those things are true. I think that in general,
and that's definitely something with that. And to me, that is actually not talked about enough. I think that there are some aspects of that particularly black men who get a certain standard that feel that they have to marry someone that fits more into a European mold or who's actually European itself. And when they're in these environments, we got to look at, what I call social conditioning that goes in. And some of that actually starts with higher education, the social conditioning that in some way, tilts people to think a certain way and to be in a certain environment. Therefore, they have to marry a certain type of woman to fit those environments that black men struggle with.
Well, I don't want to. I think that the whole why it happens is a separate discussion and a worthy discussion. But I think it's really hard to have an honest discussion where you pretend like that's not the preference for rich men and poor black men. And I think that it's especially problematic for black women when you go around classifying biracial people as black. Because it is not true that there is not social and economic advantages to being lighter skinned and being closer to white and a white supremacist.
Name me the real, I'm talking about as a group. Now, if you want to talk about selective people who have some advantages in certain industries, but as a group, no, I don't see it. But please,
okay. Well, if that's okay, I feel you. If we can't agree,
I'm just looking at it as a whole. Now, are there in certain industries? Yeah, but I mean, I don't see it. But
if you don't believe that people who look closer to white have an advantage in a white supremacist culture, I think that.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Then yeah, at that point, I don't really think.
Why I don't.
I feel like I keep waiting for you to let me get a sentence out, and it's just never coming.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
No worries. I think that if you're functioning in a framework where you don't believe that being a biracial woman is more advantageous in America to being an actual black woman, and that having light skin doesn't give you advantages over dark skin, and straight hair doesn't give you advantages over nappy hair, I think that we're existing in two completely different realities. And it's not just that. The studies I'm almost done. The studies I brought up on my show, the echo is really bad, Diderot.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm almost done. The evidence that I brought up on my show and the research, it didn't only support the financial advantages to being closer to white, the romantic advantages to being closer to white, but also there's evidence and research that supports the idea that black people with lighter skin get treated differently in the criminal justice system than dark-skinned people. So I know some of you one-droppers with your African lemonade and you wanting to believe that.
I agree. There is some evidence that I read on that.
So why we
I
want to
definitely
pick and
agree with
choose
that.
like it's not all around advantageous? I don't know what's the point of playing that game,
No,
but I'm
I
just
don't
gonna
think
say
it's.
that
I don't think it's overall advantageous. I don't.
yeah,
I don't.
and again, I'm just not prepared. I think that's a ridiculous kind of point of view, and I'm just not really
No, I
prepared
don't
to.
think it's ridiculous at all because I've seen it and I've read and I have research that I can also point that can prove that too. But I get your sentiments. But
So
that is
okay, in your
arguable research
imagination, just
against
so
that.
we're clear, in your imagination, um,
No, I'm not
light skin.
imagining. I'm not. No, Carrie Ann, I'm not imagining anything.
Maybe if you
Is
let me
what
finish my
is the
sentence.
observable. I'm talking about observable data and documented data that can actually prove against that.
I
I'm
feel
not
like you're
saying.
not really
hold
listening
on,
to
wait,
me,
but
so I'm just
just
gonna.
listen to me. Just I let you.
Well,
Let me. No, hold on.
I
Listen.
think you didn't hear what
What
I
I'm
was about to
saying. No,
say,
hold
and you're
on. Wait,
responding to
Carrie,
something I
let me
didn't
speak.
say.
Carrie. I let you speak. Let me
Did
get mine
you?
a little bit.
Okay.
No, I did. No, I did.
I thought I said in your imagination, and you
Uh,
immediately cut me off.
no, it's not my. Okay, Carrie.
All right, Dita, I'll be quiet.
You got it.
I mean, you responded. I didn't even get my
See,
thought
this is
out.
why I don't like arguing research because research is not a matter of fact. It's a study of
I
probability.
never said it
that-
was. Look, Dita, I'm gonna hop down because you're not.
No.
Why? I
You
can't
gotta
even get
let
a
me
thought
say
out, and
it.
he's preaching to me
Carrie Ann,
about
you
the
gotta let me
nature of
get my thought
research.
out.
I like this conversation. If this what the sector was built on, you
No,
know.
Carrie. I want to have discourse, but you gotta let me get my point out. What I'm stating is that just like you have research on your end, there's also research that says the direct opposite. And so the problem, well, I don't have arguments about research that often because research is not necessarily a study of the matter of fact. It studies outcomes and the probability and the factors that contribute to an outcome in a structured setting. Okay, and so you can find research to say one thing, and then you can also show research to show something else. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to invalidate what you're saying at all. What you're saying, there is reason and there is research to support that. I never said that the research wasn't valid at all. I never said that. So I just want to make sure as we move forward with this discussion, you understand that.
I don't really think I needed you to interrupt me and tell me what the definition of research
Okay,
is.
Carrie Ann, now you just being like,
Hey,
I'm not trying to interrupt you, Carrie Ann. I'm not trying to argue with you, Carrie Ann. Let me move on to Chaos Rain. What's up, Chaos?
All right, what's
Chaos
good?
Rain?
What's good? What's good?
What's going on, man? What's up?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I was just saying. I'm not sure people talking about this colors. Wait, why is it echo?
Because
I don't
Dita
know what's
Rail won't
going-
exit and come back in.
Yeah, you could jump back in, Dita, because you're on your StreamYard. All right. Yeah, because he snaps out echo. Yeah, I'm hearing about
Is
the.
it still echoing now?
Start shit right now.
Let's see. Let's do a test. Hello.
Okay, hold on.
Let me speak. Yeah, jump. Oh, you had to exit out the whole thing. It will
It's
not.
party time. It's party time now.
All right, it's gone. All right, he'll come back. What's this about colorism again? About this preference in light skin and dark skin? I'm hearing just recently. All right, let me see. Is it working?
Okay, is it better now?
Let's see.
Is it better?
There is a echo mixture. Yep, there's echo.
Okay.
Did you escape or you lower yourself down?
Let me change. Go ahead and talk. I'm just gonna mute
Yeah,
myself.
because if you hit the lead come back, it should correct it.
Just go ahead and speak.
All
I'm
right.
gonna mute myself.
Yeah. Like I was saying, the colorism aspects of what black men pick. Black men pick what he could see or what is available. It's not always light skin that's the top, the pyramid chart, but when we talk about the mate selection of most black men, they're gonna pick anything that is considered suitable and reasonable. Now, if it's a light-skinned person that a black man have noticed, then obviously, unfortunately, he'll pick that. But we all know in the mating market, women always try to compete for a certain man. You get me? And if they think that their skin tone is the deciding factor that they can't get certain men, then you have to really make yourself pleasing in other areas. You get me? It's always a game of what they call it. I don't know if it's chess or checkers, you want to call it. And you gotta find which one will get you to checkmate with certain mates. It's that simple, you know. And besides, not every man you want to be picked, you know, to keep things simple, you know. So in regards to the percentage of which black men will pick, if they'll pick light skin or dark skin, they'll pick a woman that is, you know, agreeable, hopefully friendly, respectful, you know, and looks pretty decent. Not good, decent, you know, to what he's liking. That's how it goes. You know, that's how the game plays. Do you agree? Do you mean
I mean, I can agree with to a certain extent with that.
Okay.
But there are factors, again, as I was talking about, there are factors that can when you look at the totality of black men's preferences, there are cultural factors that contribute to that. That as far as the type of family background, there are technological influences of that. Okay. Then there's certain things that societal tells you that is more attractive. And then when you enter into certain social economical groups and so on, as you climb the ladder and you get around certain types of people, they will in some way try to acclimate you into getting a certain type of certain look of a particular woman. And those are influencers. But I and so we have to look at that. I guarantee you, if you look at a lot of research that I've seen, I don't really, that's really, in my opinion, and this is me speaking professionally, there's not a lot of good research on this. It's not. In my opinion, professionally speaking, there's not a lot of good behavioral research on this. There are some, but most of it is trash, in my opinion. And so, but whatever that research comes out with doesn't mean that it's factual. It just proves that in that setting and what they did, this was the outcome that allows us to study and observe the fact that certain type of people in a certain environment, certain class, certain walk of life may have a tendency, if these particular factors are in play, to choose a lighter skinned woman or a darker skinned woman. That's all I'm saying. And I will argue that, or with any situation, because that's typically basically what the research is saying, whether it's for darker or lighter. It's all going to come down to the methodology, the sample size. Is there if you look at the error, there's error that's also that you have to account for. That's what's called a standard error of estimate. You have to estimate like things that went wrong. That will also, you got to look at the significant differences. That may be a situation in which there are some differences, but the differences are like 2 to 3%, which is not significant, as opposed to something that's a difference between 40% of black men in this area choosing and then 20% in another area. Like that, there's some other things that have to be accounted for when you are truly assessing research.
Can I
That's
ask a
all I'm
question?
saying.
I have a question because I feel like this is the second time you kind of gave that explanation about the limits of research and what research can be reliable for. And I don't think that echo is crazy.
Go ahead.
I don't think that there's a lot of people who don't know that research is not the same thing as facts. and that it has limitations and you have to examine the methodology. So I guess I just want to ask, like, how is it that you want to go about this conversation? Because if every time what I brought up was one of the most widely accepted research projects is longitudinal, as I mentioned earlier, tens of thousands of people contacted, and I've tried to refer to it twice, and you've cut me off to say that research has its limitations, and that's fine. So are we going to rely upon the research, or was there some other intelligent way you wanted to have this conversation where we didn't discuss the research, or are we just going to keep a certain, like, what is it that, how would you like to go about discussing this?
We're already going about it. You just don't agree with the way I'm going about it. The fact of the matter is that I don't care how longitudinal the study is and who created it, there are errors and flaws in the research, period. That's all I'm saying. And it can be argued. That's all I'm stating. And again, the research of how well, just because everybody approve of it don't necessarily mean it's good. They all can be wrong.
I agree, but I could see if I was able to get my point across, and then you wanted to argue about the methodology. But when you keep talking over me and cutting me off,
Carrie Ann, I was not talking over you. Come on, you corrected when you said things
like
and you said
it again.
Okay. Carrie Ann, stop it, Carrie Ann. Now.
So if I want to point to something specific in the research, and your argument is that it might be not apply in one area and not another, and I respond to that by saying this took place in 4 major cities, and then you say the sample size might not be big enough, so I say this was the largest study comprised of tens of thousands of people. Again, I think we all already know that research isn't perfect, but are you saying that I can't even raise a point from
Okay, as a behavioral scientist myself, I didn't read the research. So if we want to talk about the fact of intelligently discussing research, I cannot intelligently discuss research I didn't read. Okay, let's just agree.
You're just saying you just don't want me to bring it up.
No, that's not. No. You're making inferences. That's not what I stated. Carrie Ann, stop. Carrie Ann, you said that. Wait, Carrie Ann, slow down, baby. You said you wanted to have Carrie Ann, listen. I didn't read the research. I can't. I have to repeat it because you keep.
I don't understand why I can't get my question.
Because you need to be muted because I'm trying to talk to you. But I'm not trying to be right or wrong with you. I'm not trying to be right or wrong.
I'm asking
but you're interrupting me. Come on.
Is there any point in which I can bring up what happened?
I gotta go. I'm on it.
All right, Carrie Ann, do you want to have the mic and just me listen to you?
I mean, I would like to be able to bring up a topic from the research, and
but Carrie Ann, I just stated I did not read the research. I cannot intelligently argue research that I didn't read.
So when Chaos Reign just gave his opinion without citing any research, that was okay. But if I want
it was not. No, did you listen to what I told him? I said that I agreed with some of the things he said to a certain extent. I didn't say I just believed everything he stated. Yeah, the same applies to him.
Got to say it. I'm not even being allowed to say mine because
because you're saying that I said things that I didn't say.
I didn't say you said anything about it.
Yes,
I said
you
it was
did.
okay for him to speak, and you won't let me even say anything.
Carrie Ann, you being funny tonight.
We got to give a whole speech about his opinion based off nothing. I'm trying to put to something from the research, and you keep cutting me off.
No, I'm not, Carrie Ann. I'm not cutting you off from the research. I'm listening to you.
Okay, what point did I get to raise from the research?
Carrie Ann, you were speaking on the research 2 and 3 minutes at a time.
Okay, D. Darrell.
But I get the research that you stated. And you stated it was a longitudinal research based in 4 major cities.
Well, I was hoping you would let me say the fact I was trying to cite.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead and state the whole thing. Then I'm a rebuttal.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna email you the research. I'm gonna send it to you, and then I'm gonna set up a show for us to talk at a separate time because I'm not really getting anything out of. I agree with you on some points, but not everything. And it seems like I can't.
I get it. I mean, it does make for a better discussion if I read it. It really does, and I agree with that. But I'm not trying to overtalk you. I'm really not. Excuse me for over talking you. I'm not really trying to.
Research isn't perfect, but it's the
but-
best we have so far. This is
but-
the
but
most
see-
longitudinal study. Like,
see-
I don't understand what the point
No,
is.
see, and excuse me, because I'm used to being in certain areas where people are always quoting and they didn't understand what they was reading, and I had to explain to them these, and so they're used to just taking raw numbers, and that's all they focus on, and they're not focusing on how those raw numbers were computed and what they really mean, and as it relates to how you evaluate research to its totality, and they didn't want to hear that shit, but they just wanted to talk about the end result. I cannot effectively discuss research if we're not going to talk about the research from start to finish. That's all I'm saying. That's how I was trained to study research.
I'm not looking to you to validate the same way that what's his name, Chaos over here was like, yeah, skin color doesn't matter because you might be able to make up for being dark skinned by being feminine or whatever the fuck he just said. Where it seemed to me like he tried to suggest that dark skin, where it seemed to me he was trying to suggest that dark skin wouldn't preclude a woman from marriage, but then he started talking about other ways of women to make up for not being light skinned, which would seem to me to suggest that light skin is advantageous in the marriage market. And so I would like to be able to discuss that, but according to this research, and again, if you know of any research that's more well respected and more cited than the urban equality evidence from Four Cities study last done in 2009, right? The last update, I think they have another update coming in 4 years, where they said light-skinned women are married at the rate of 55%, where dark-skinned women are only married at the rate of 33%. This is based off of tens of thousands of respondents. This isn't based off of, they accounted for things like volunteer bias. These are some of the best sociologists in the country that worked on this all in 4 different major cities, and that's the conclusion that they had. So I don't know, I'm not suggesting that's perfect evidence, but I certainly think it's based off more than you just saying something like most of the people I know, which is what you said earlier in this conversation. I think this study is worthy of discussion.
Okay, can I speak now?
Yes.
Okay, so I did not say based on what I know. I said based on what I studied and what I've seen as it relates to people who are married. Listen, I've counseled over probably maybe 5 to 8, maybe 5 to 600 married couples that were black in the last 20 years. I didn't see disparities among having more darker skin or lighter skinned women married than darker skin. Okay, that's one. Number two, again, as I talk about the research, when I study research, I'm not just studying research that slants one side over the other. I look at research that may support your stance, and I also will study research that may show that there's differences in outcomes. Okay, that's what I'm stating. The fact of the matter is that there are more darker skinned, brown to darker skinned women than lighter skinned women. You have to account for the accessibility of what is being within that sample size. As far as we got over probably I'm gonna say about 27 million black women, 28 million black women in this country. I will guess that at least 75% of those women are brown. 75 to 80% of those women are brown, solid brown to darker skin, and the other 20-25% is probably of lighter skin. So you gotta account for the totality of how many between that, because to make up for that you just can't go by again. And I'm not trying to invalidate your numbers, because if you read this, I'm gonna take it as gospel. But again, I look at all the factors. I
don't understand your point. To me,
if you don't understand my point, I don't know what else to say.
I'm asking for clarification.
What I'm saying is clarifying. It's clarifying other factors that contribute to that outcome. Okay. I'm not just looking at the outcome itself. I'm looking at the factors that contribute to the outcome.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you're saying that there are more dark-skinned women than light-skinned women, wouldn't the fact that more light-skinned are married women are married point to an even greater bias? That
No.
and if
No.
so if
Hold
I
on,
said
Chaos.
that if I
Hold on,
said
Chaos.
that
Go ahead.
so for example, right? If there's more people in America who aren't obese than who are, right? Hypothetically, that the majority of people are not morbidly obese. So if most of the people who have heart attacks are morbidly obese, wouldn't that mean that they're even more likely to have a heart attack because they're morbidly obese?
We're not talking about being morbidly obese. We're talking about marriage preferences. Those are two
Right. So
different
I'm
things.
talking
So
about
I
if
don't think
something is
those two
already in
things.
the minority
Don't-
and then
don't-
it's more likely for something to happen there, wouldn't that point to there being a greater bias towards that minority? And
we're
further,
talking.
Really
With
good.
Gary, we're talking about mating preferences. We're talking about dating. Those are two different things. We're not talking about health conditions. We're talking about dating preferences.
okay, maybe that was too abstract.
No,
If
it
it's
was
true
not.
that
It wasn't abstract at all. That's just a matter of fact.
I wasn't unaware that we were talking about a health thing. I was
But that
talking
is, you're talking about, if you're talking about health conditions of someone getting a heart attack for being obese, that's a health condition.
I was speaking about how minorities play out.
Well, even for that's still a health
If
condition.
something is less likely to occur in nature, but it's more likely to occur in a subset, wouldn't that point to the subset being more biased?
Okay, you're trying to, in some way, use a different set of circumstances.
Yes.
Under to kind of relate to the fact as it relates to preferences.
If something is a minority,
okay.
Okay, because so that metaphor didn't work. Let's just throw that away, okay? If it's true that men who are rich and successful are more likely to marry women who are thin and young and lighter skinned, doesn't it reflect that that would be the preference for all men, but just the men who are most successful have access to that?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Because the reason why it doesn't is because those men who are particularly their avenues to getting there and to that point are different from those who are not at that level and choosing who the person that they chose. That there's a different pathway to that choice as opposed to others who had a different pathway to choose the woman that they choose.
So if there are fewer white women who are willing to date black men, and there are fewer biracial women altogether, but all of the richest, most successful black men tend to be with white or interracial women, that doesn't point to the fact that they just have the highly sought after resources to get what most men would want.
But Carrie Ann, don't you know that less than 5% of black men make over $100,000?
Right, and the fact that so
you're going to account for the 5% to represent the other 95% that don't?
No, what I'm saying is that most men in general, obviously not every single man, kind of tend towards wanting specific things, and it's the men with the most resources who are able to get those things that most men find desirable.
5%. You're gonna compare
if
5.
It was 20%, would that make my argument any different?
Whether it was 3%, 1%,
the men with the most
but the fact of the matter is that
right?
the fact of the matter is that the overwhelming majority are not in that bracket, and they choose.
But what does that have to do with my question about preferences? I'm not arguing that most men have access to that. Okay. I'm saying that the preferences of the most elite men reflect what most men want, but most men can't get. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that complicated to me.
It is very complicated because this is on a case-by-case situation based on individuals in certain environments and certain experiences.
Isn't that true for every
how they are perceived? How they are.
I apologize.
Okay, how they are perceived in those environments. Okay, it's not. You cannot. I think it's irresponsible to make blanket statements, and there are exceptions. And then when we talk about human beings are very difficult to study as it relates to behavior, because so when we study human beings, even though we are habitual in nature. The fact of the matter is that there are a variety of factors that contribute into why human beings do what they do.
Nobody's
Okay.
disputing that.
No, I
And
know,
it's-
but I'm saying it
it's
as
not
as
relevant
as
to my question I asked. It's not. The fact that individuals are individuals, you can take that into account and still acknowledge that almost every professional athlete has a white or biracial wife. They're all individuals, but they, like you said, you can study behaviors in groups. And if what you're telling me is that
I can't speak because I couldn't tell you nothing because when I was trying to tell you, you went into this.
I'm sorry, go ahead and give your speech about how people research is in fact.
No, I'm just, but the
me a third
research
time.
is important. And to be honest with you, even the research that focuses, let's just use the athletes and the entertainers. That research, that's a fallacy. Most black men that are in the entertainment, they do not marry. And I have 3 family members that are at that level. Most of them, and I've seen some of these people, most of them are not married to non-black women. They're actually married, but on television, what is advertised and what is seen, you're going to see that more than what you see with you. There is an issue of not wanting to project a positive black family in certain specific. So that there is a purpose for that. But if you take the total numbers, if we took the NFL, baseball, basketball, and whatever sports, I guarantee you, Carrie Ann, I'm willing to bet the farm that the majority of those black men that are in those environments are married to more black women than they are any other group of people.
Okay, well let's do this.
I'm willing to take that bet, and because
you.
you know why? Go ahead.
Let's do this because I feel like we're kind of talking in circles.
We're not talking in circles. We're having a conversation.
That's not really circle.
I would love to finish my sentence. Sometimes my sentences start off one way, but the ending is like I'm setting up a dichotomy. So sometimes you might have to let me get the whole little
I'm
sentence
saying
out.
To Carrie Ann, you've been interrupting me all night.
And I apologize. I'm not perfect.
Okay, I apologize.
I certainly tried to do better. I felt like I tried to let you speak, and I caught myself too. I'm not suggesting.
But Carrie Ann, okay, I'm gonna say this now. What I'm gonna tell you is this. I'm gonna ask you a question.
I have a suggestion. So, because I feel like us just kind of saying back and forth what we believe to each other is not that productive. I have research ready to discuss my theory and my belief that having lighter skin provides advantages in a white supremacist culture, economically, romantically, socially, and I'm prepared to back that up with data.
I never said
all these beliefs. So let's meet in a week and just kind of present our evidence to these things we believe.
Okay,
because
I mean, I never said
there's evidence that points the other way, right? You said that there's evidence that points to what I said, and there's some evidence you have that goes the other way, right?
Carrie Ann, I never told you that there were lighter skinned people that did not get advantages. What I told you is that when you look at it from the overall aggregate, there are no significant differences in that. That's what I stated.
So then how is that different from saying
significant differences? Meaning that the research does not necessarily suggest that the overwhelming majority of light-skinned people of lighter skin have an advantage. That's what it means.
Okay, so
that doesn't mean that that's factual. That doesn't mean it's factual. That just means that the research suggests that.
You specifically said
I'm not going to speak. Listen. I want you to understand. In how I was trained in research, we don't speak in absolutes, and so. The problem that I'm hearing from you is that when you speak of these things, you speak in absolutes.
I haven't done
and absolutes have no place in research.
No, I didn't say that. I said that.
No, you did convey that in so many words.
Convey that. That's not.
Oh, so you did. So you telling me you didn't convey that in so many words.
I said that there are advantages. That's not the same thing as me saying that every light-skinned person has a better life. But I have evidence that there's advantages. That is advantageous to be lighter skinned in a white supremacist culture. And I don't see the point of talking back and forth. You said you had research that pointed the other way.
I have research. I have practical research. I have an array of research on a lot of things. But
can we meet in a week and discuss this? Because I would like to see the research too.
We could meet, Carrie Ann, we could meet in a week and discuss it.
Okay.
I'd love to have that discussion with you.
And I'll come with an open mind. I'm prepared to.
No, I want you to come with an open mind. I already know what your research is going to say.
I just said I'm coming
but
with
I'm
an
just,
open
I'm
mind.
just going to go by what you stated, and I'm just going to help you understand. That as I'm expressing these things, you can't twist what I'm saying because you saying I mean this. No, I'm just going to state. I'm going to speak from a totally neutral perspective about it because I care. To be honest with you, I'm not going to approach it as if I'm searching. I'm not doing confirmation bias. I'm not going to look for research that tries to fit my narrative. I'm just going to show you what the research presents in its totality, and then you make your decision.
I'm not aware of any research, and I've looked into this before.
I am aware. I'm aware of research like that.
Okay, so just so we're clear, I'm asserting that having light skin in America, a white supremacist culture, provides advantages to people with lighter skin and more white features. And I'm willing to assert that economically, socially, employment-wise, in the criminal justice system, in healthcare, etc. And you're going to prove that there's no advantages. To being like,
no, I know. I'm not going to prove there's no advantage. I never said there was no advantages. I said there's not any significant.
What's the
difference? That's the difference. Now, see, again, saying no is absolute.
Doesn't significance just mean it's
no. That's not. That's a difference between no and significant. There's a difference.
I thought if it wasn't significant, it wasn't measurable. So is as far as research,
just because something cannot. Research measures whether or not something is significant or not significant.
So how are we defining significant?
By the percentages.
What would be a significant percent?
To be in my position, that can be somewhat subjective, but I'm going to say, I'm looking at something that shows, depending on the research itself. If I'm not saying something that shows 20 to 30% more than the other, I don't consider that. Anything less than that is to me not significant.
So just so we're clear, if light-skinned women are
that's me being subjective. That's subjectively
married,
speaking.
you don't consider that significant?
You say what?
If light-skinned women are 19% more likely to get married, you don't consider that significant?
No, I don't consider it that significant. No,
One
I don't.
out of 5 is not significant.
No, I don't consider it that significant. Being that there's basically three times less light-skinned women than dark-skinned women.
But we're doing it by percent. So
listen, okay. Do you understand the difference between average, mean, and mode? Do you know what those three things mean?
I think mean is average and mode is the most often. Is that right?
And average is amount, yes. But also those scores can be skewed based on the size, okay, of the sample size. It could be or let's say the range, or let's say a larger range as it relates to the amount of something. Let's say the difference between 1 in a million versus 1 in 100,000.
Yeah, so but percent is always out of 100. So why does that matter?
No, it's not always out. No.
Percent usually literally means
percent is out of 100. However, you have to take in it's a difference between you measuring 100,000 and measuring a million. That's a difference.
Isn't that what percents are for?
That's okay. That's not what. Again, you're looking at the size. Sizes vary.
No, is it percent
because the fact of the matter is that because there are more dark-skinned women, black women, than lighter skinned, there's probably a case for why the percentage is higher that more darker skinned black women are not being married because there's more of them, as opposed to the vice versa. See, we have to account for all those things. But what I'm going to do
Wait,
is
did we finish
present.
with significant
Okay,
yet, or
okay,
you changing the
Carrie,
subject? I thought we were still trying to define.
God
what
damn it!
Carrie.
What the fuck?
Carrie, you gotta let me.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to define significant. And you're talking about.
I just told you that significance can be subjective.
So when I say there's something significant, when I say that there's
You said
advantage, and you say
19%.
it's
I
not
said 20.
significant.
I said 25% on up, in my opinion.
So just so we're clear, if I was going to give a speech that said black boys who are dark skinned are 19% less likely to succeed in school, you would consider that to be insignificant.
I would consider that in some ways to be insignificant. In some ways, it all depends on what we're relating it to. I'm not going to say that. Hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That I'm going to say again. You're giving a blanket statement. Okay, that doesn't mean that. Period. 19% of black men or black boys are not succeeding in a certain way because there's certain aspects of how that's being measured and what is it applying to.
But isn't that what 19% means?
No, but what are you? But that 19% is applied to what?
To 100.
100 of doing what?
What?
See, okay.
Carrie
Ann,
Carrie Ann,
you got to understand how research. I understand. Hold on. Let me say this. I know how research is used to say. I know how research is manipulated. I know how research is manipulated because I've done it.
Here's the thing, right?
You can listen. You can
when
give.
You're looking at research, D-Darrell,
okay.
It's considered all things are considered.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna say 19% of black boys who are dark skinned have a lower chance of success in a program, you're considering that they're doing everything equal for all the boys in the group.
But what's the chances of that?
With this methodology, boys are 19% less likely to succeed. Like that's all that it means.
No,
so
it doesn't. Carrie Ann, what you got to understand when doing research is that there's other parameters besides them being dark skinned that contributed in their failure.
That's why it's all things considered equal.
No, everything is not equal. That's what you have to understand.
That's why it's all things considered equal.
Nothing is. You can't consider things that are not. That's impossible. That's not even logical. All things are not equal. That's the reason why research has what's called a standard error of estimate. There's error. There's going to be error. Everything is not going to be equal. Everything is not going to go through perfectly. Everything is not going to be systemic. Everybody's not going to respond.
I don't know why you keep telling me this.
Because you keep saying, I keep telling you this. I keep telling you this because you keep saying otherwise. So the more you keep telling me,
every time somebody gives a statistic,
Carrie Ann, have you done research before? Carrie Ann, have you done research before?
No.
Okay, I have.
Oh my God.
I've done several research. I've done research on. Hold on, Carrie Ann. I've done research on free. I've done research on memory. I've done research on ADHD and medication. I've done research on memory, free and serial recall. I've done research as it relates to criminality in the black community. As a therapist, a behavioral therapist, I know what I'm talking about.
Is any of that helping us get down to a definition?
I'm speaking no different. I'm speaking no different if I was presenting something to a master's level class or PhD level class. I would be speaking no different. And I get what you're saying, but I think this is above your pay grade. I really do.
Okay.
Because if you're gonna come at me with this, I'm gonna only tell you the things that I know from a professional standpoint will work. You can throw in all the research you want.
What percentage is required?
Carrie Ann, I can discredit your research without even reading it and just looking at the abstract of that research.
So that's why I was hoping you would show me some research.
But the fact of the matter, you've never done research, and I have.
Right, so you should show me some.
So I don't understand. What are we discussing? I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay. All I wanted you to do was bring your research.
You've never done. Carrie Ann, you've never done research. I'm trying to.
Said that.
I got to keep saying it because you keep trying to go otherwise.
I'm just asking you to bring some research that supports your claim that having dark skin or light skin is
what I'm
significant.
telling you, Carrie Ann, listen to me. I'm not trying to argue
You're
against what you're
grandstanding.
saying.
Just set the parameters for the discussion. I get it. You
Okay.
smart me dumb. Okay.
No, we're not. You
Bring me your research, whatever it is.
bring me your research.
Well, you're the one that knows how to find better research. So just
No,
bring
it ain't about better research. It's not.
Okay.
Research is research. I just show you what's out there.
Well,
Number
if you're
one, the
going to
research that
discredit
you
my
talked about is
research,
actually
bring
old.
some credible research.
I can show you credible research.
That's all I'm asking you to do. I don't know why we're going through
I
this.
know,
whole
but you keep, even though you tell it. Okay, this is what you're doing, Carrie Ann. You're telling me that you're looking at it from this perspective. You don't understand why I'm looking at it from this perspective. My research is showing you, but you're standing in a way that's discrediting what I think. I'm not trying to discredit what you're thinking. All I'm saying is
You
that
brought up discrediting my research. I didn't
no,
bring
no,
that up.
no. I brought up the fact that academically speaking, any research can be critiqued.
I don't know
That's
why
all
you
I'm
keep telling me
saying.
that over and over.
Any research can
Why
be.
do you keep telling me that? Do you
Because
think
I got it.
don't
Because
believe you?
because we keep having this circular
All I did was
discussion.
ask
So
you what
I'm going to
percentage
be
seems to be
consistent.
significant.
I'm going to be consistent. I'm consistent. That's why I'm repeating myself. I'm consistent. I'm consistently going to tell you the things that apply to research. I'm not
Okay,
going
so
to
you're
vary.
gonna-
I'm
just
not
so
going
we're
to
clear.
vary away from what I know works and how research is
Right,
is
you know
articulated.
so much. I got you.
No,
Next
I
week,
mean,
you're gonna bring-
I have
just
the
so we're clear,
credentials.
D-Darrell,
I don't have to say I made
Next
the
week, you're
paperwork
gonna
say I
bring-
know so much.
So just so we're clear, D-Darrell,
okay.
are you willing to hear me say anything?
You've been over talking me more like the whole time.
Because you keep telling me the same thing about the
Because I
unreliability
have
of
to
research
repeat things
over and over.
but based
How many
on what
times
you're
do I have to
saying,
listen to that?
I have to reinsert
Why?
the things because you're saying you continue to say these same things over and over.
What did I
so I'm
say
just
that deserves to get
reinserting
that
the same
significant?
reasons. Unless you bring up a different reason, then I'll bring up something
A
different.
different reason for what? I'm just
For
trying to figure out what
anything
we're doing next week.
okay, Carrie Ann,
All
listen.
I asked you was, what do you consider significant? And then
I
I
just
asked you, are you
told you.
sure you meant to say
Okay.
20% is the threshold for significance?
I said
Fine.
that's subjective.
Right, which is why we nailed it down to 20%, right? I asked you,
I said
what is significant
20%.
to you, right?
Okay.
So next week, you're going to bring me evidence from research that may or may not be credible, and we're going to talk about the credibility. You're going to bring some research that shows that having dark skin does not have a significant difference from light skin within a threshold of 20%, correct?
If that's going to be the threshold, that's fine.
You picked it.
Okay, I picked that threshold. That's fine.
So next week on Sunday.
Now I'm gonna be out of town. I'm gonna be in Vegas next weekend.
Okay, just let me know when.
I'm gonna say early next week. Because I'm gonna be in Vegas from Friday to Monday of next week. So I'm gonna say maybe Wednesday, Thursday of next week.
I think this is an important discussion, and I think
it
easier for us
is.
to have this discussion when we have
And
some
I like
data.
to.
Let me know when I can finish the sentence. I'll be quiet.
I'm enjoying the conversation. I really am. But at the same time, I just won't. Because see, I'm doing this because in other spaces that I'm in, and Chaos Rain can attest, there are people who are always throwing up research. And
Exactly.
then when you read the research, they like, oh, but what about this? And I'm telling them, this is not, this is why this means this is why. And then people want to, again, this is not this sector, it's other sectors. And so I've done this before, Carrie. This is nothing different than I've already done in the past. But
Okay, well,
I
I don't
welcome,
wanna be
I'm going to be honest with you, Carrie Ann. I really would like to see that. I would like you to email me that research because I really am interested in reading that research.
Yeah, and I hope you'll give me the same courtesy so we both can come prepared. And I, like I was trying to say a minute ago,
Can she put the research in the backtrack?
I think that this conversation would be a lot more productive for me anyway, if instead of just kind of attacking or criticizing or pointing out that my research won't be accurate, you can.
No,
kind of
I never
illustrate
said
for
that.
me. Please let
I
me know
never
when I
said
can
that.
finish the sentence. I'll wait.
No, but I didn't say that. See, you making these insinuations. I never stated that I never said anything about your research not being credible. I never did.
I just said it's going to have flaw. That's a difference. Because our research has flaw. There's a difference.
So when every time I bring up my research, you give the same speech over and over about
because we're talking about the same research.
I'll wait.
No, because you're saying the reason.
Maybe can I just get my whole thought out and then you disagree with what I got wrong?
You telling me not to repeat
let me know when I
myself.
can speak.
You telling me not to repeat myself and you repeating yourself.
Well, I keep starting the same sentence, so
Okay,
I'm not
go ahead.
sure
Go
how
ahead,
much
Carrie.
of it I
Go
heard.
ahead. I'm a mute.
So again, I think this will be more productive if we both have research in front of us that could both be flawed. I won't feel like every time I try to give a statistics, we have to talk about the nature of research and how there might be correlation might not imply causation, and there could be other factors affecting the data. I think that's going to be true for any research we bring up, which is why I just think it's kind of pointless to keep saying it over and over again unless you can point to a specific flaw in the methodology. And I just think it'll be a lot easier to keep it to the topic at hand if we have actual data in front of us. So I would like to have this conversation too. I'm open to being wrong about this. I respect what you have to say, and I will come with a listening mind, but just me trying to assert something and it just keep getting told it might be wrong when nobody else is really providing anything but their own personal anecdotes, I just don't think is super productive.
Again, you that whole monologue that you just stated was at trying to discredit me in a passive aggressive manner. And again, I'm not saying anything no different than I would in an academic environment. So if you want to take it that way, you're more than happy to. But I'm going to be consistent, and that's all I can say about that. So I welcome your research.
Okay, and I wasn't trying to throw shots. I meant that. I think that.
Oh, really?
Really? If I did, I would tell you. I wasn't. I'm saying like you're probably feeling you have to illustrate that because we're talking in the abstract. If we have something literally in front of us, and at least me personally, I find it easier to learn that way. If you're pointing to like specific things instead of just like the nature of knowledge itself.
We had a basically we were talking about slander guide. That's how this kind of went into this. That wasn't. This is not like this particular topic. It came up spontaneously.
It's appropriate, don't you think? Yeah.
We were talking about slander God in regards to
and what
his racial, whatever going on with him racially. Which I thought slander God was biracial. Now they saying slander God is a white. I have an issue if slander God is turned out to be a white man speaking the way he has spoken in this sector. That's my issue, because I just like with Muslim and other people. I really have issues with that.
Well, and I'll say I found it interesting that Creole Angel her pasta hopped down out the clouds to chastise us for not defining Black the way she wants us to. When I've seen her be in the audience when Stargate is calling people gorillas and niggers, and she never hopped down to assert her Blackness or what's not Black then. So I do think it's important for Black people to assert their right to define Blackness for themselves. And people that want to come over here advocating for their own ethnic group is fine, but this right here is a Black space, and if you're not going to say anything when Black women are getting called gorillas, miss me with that bullshit.
I'm gonna reserve my comments on pasta because I
know y'all have a history, but
we have a long ass history. I believe that. I'm gonna leave that alone. But what I can say is that this is a Black space. That's the reason why I was here in the beginning or whatever. And I'm indifferent. I'm not saying other races or groups can't be here, even though I care less if they're here or not. But I feel like if they're here, they need to conduct themselves accordingly, respectfully. That's all I'm saying. Agreed. And somebody like Muslim didn't, or to me, I don't think Al Lanier claiming he biracial. I don't think he's biracial. I think he's Hawaiian, and I'm gonna stick to that until I see otherwise. Saying the things that they were saying were disrespectful. As it relates to slander God, until they give me a name with the picture that verifies that this white man is him, or per se, I don't know what else to say about that. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I
But
have no opinion on it. There's no reason to, like you
yeah,
said.
like if he is white, then I'm gonna have heat for Slender God for
Same.
talking the way he has been and disrespecting and basically doing what do they call it, like online
Blackface.
blackfacing and all that kind of shit and playing in our face for like 3-4 years. I have issues with that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so that
It's just
ain't
the
gonna fly with
creepiness
me.
of it. But like you said, it's white people that come around all the time. I don't have a problem with that. But
Yeah,
the calling us niggas and telling us you black is just, if anything else, it's just some creepy weirdo
yeah,
shit.
because Planet God they said a whole bunch of like they're just taking it as if this is a biracial guy that and he claimed he's considered himself black, which I've heard out of his mouth that he considered himself black.
Yeah.
And so on. So I accepted it as such.
Well, it would be no different than if we found out one of the women in the sector was really a man, and then somebody come along, what's wrong with being a man? Nobody said there was anything wrong with being a man, but like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, if you're a woman pretending to be a man,
why are you around here pretending to be something you're not?
Like, first, like, why are you playing with us? Like,
right? Why are you playing in our face? And then
you interacting with people,
yeah. But to try to act like we doing something wrong as black people by asserting what we think is black, like I said, if I didn't see these same people sticking up when black people get racially degraded, they could miss me with that bullshit, respectfully.
Right. I agree with that.
Because we so quick to stick up for everybody else, but don't nobody stick up.
Nobody's sticking up, but that's kind of changing a little bit. But they got a group of people mad at us right now for not sticking up for them. So that's kind of changing.
Good. I hope to see more of that because fuck us being everybody's fucking savior and everybody look the other way when we getting beat the fuck up. Yeah, let them be mad.
I'm appalled at that. I don't know your position on that, but I'm like
about this black people stay at home movement.
Yeah, like I don't understand why. It's almost like it was an expectation that we was gonna jump out the window for y'all ass, and I'm like, really? Like,
but we've been doing it for so long.
Like I was like trying to understand like where is all this coming from? Where you thought that we cared that much to be risking our life for the fact of something we ain't benefiting from? That to me.
Yeah, but it's just like a lot of them probably voted for Trump.
Oh, they did overwhelmingly.
Over
65% of that group voted for Donald Trump.
And see, that's why I'm not pro-immigration, even though I'm a commie. And like in theory, like we want open borders, but in reality, nah, fuck that.
You said it again? I'm sorry, I missed it.
I say, as a communist, ideologically, they don't want national borders. But I'm not purely anything. You know what I'm saying? I think
right.
on all things. So while I agree with most communist ideology, I'm not pro like open borders. I'm just not.
Nah, that's a security risk.
And race complicates things. Like these people come in here and first thing they want to do is advertise themselves as non-black.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. They can do that, but then if that's what you choose to do, you take what else comes, everything else that comes with it.
They take our jobs and they displace us and they take up all our program money and everything, and then they vote against us. So.
And that's why we not jumping out the window to help them. Exactly. So that behavior it leads to the reason why things are the way they are now.
Well, like, that's why they could build a wall as far as I'm concerned.
I'm fine with that too.
As long as it's cost effective, but I tell you, we need to build a wall before all this global warming shit kick in because they've been coming up here like World War Z, like real talk.
Right.
Disasters start hitting.
It's real up, like, but no nation is going to let anybody just come in at will. So I don't know why people think that we're supposed to make all these concessions for everybody. And I live in a border state, and
y'all got it real bad. And I gotta tell you, it was smart that y'all started sending them up north.
Yeah, like it's horrible.
Fuck that.
Yeah, like that stuff, like California.
They say black people can't even get jobs down there unless they speak Spanish. They be treating us like.
Oh, you mean in South Texas? Yeah, in South Texas, that's probably the case. But not only that, even in cities like Houston or San Antonio or in other areas, there are jobs where they put that, you have to speak Spanish in order to qualify as a means to disqualifying you from getting those jobs. So,
I mean, I will say if I lived in a border state, I would go ahead and learn Spanish anyway, just for the money that you could be losing out on,
Right. I mean, like, I was encouraged in college to speak, that you may want to speak Spanish and all this other stuff. I actually didn't do that, but I mean, it could have benefited me. But being honest with you, just honestly speaking, me speaking Spanish was not going to. I don't think it was going to propel my career any higher than what it was. I mean, it probably would have got. I probably would have gotten a few Spanish speaking clients here or there that I didn't need an interpreter. But it wasn't going to put an extra.
And they're not gonna go to a black man, no way,
No, they do. They will, but they do. But for the most part, they don't. But the fact of the matter is that it was not going to change it to the point where I'm losing out on millions over my career because of that. Nah, hell no.
I wouldn't go to no non-black therapist. I thought they would be even more insular. Ain't no way in the world.
Well, I mean everybody got consumer choice, so I can't tell somebody what their consumer choice can and can't be.
That's true, but we have such a unique experience. I mean, I would go to a white person before I went to an immigrant. Because at least they American.
I hear you. I hear you on that. And so I'm gonna be honest, kind of thinking about it. I've only had like 2 Hispanic therapists. Only 2.
Yeah, I think they're more religious in general. Not all of them, obviously.
They very religious.
But I work with a lot of Hispanic kids and Latino kids, and they not big on therapy. Some of them are though.
No, they're not. They culturally speaking, they not.
They're not.
They almost worse than black folks are.
They should though. They got plenty of the same problems.
Yeah, they got definitely some of the same. But a lot of them, unfortunately, they wait till. My experience is that they wait till things, and just like they wait till things get really, really bad.
Yeah.
And they exhaust. They exhaust all other options before they decide to go to therapy.
Yeah, I had this one wonderful student who I kind of talked into like considering therapy. Just a really smart kid and really thoughtful Hispanic male. And we just had a couple of talks about how he could probably really help a lot of his people. And I don't know if he'll do it, but it was just like a career opportunity that opened up to him because he just had something about him. I'm like, you talking about doing this and that. I can't remember what it was. It's like, dude, you would make a hell of a therapist,
Right.
I hope
they need them. They need them. They don't have enough of them for them, and that's
especially
definitely
the
a
men,
market.
right? Especially
they don't have enough. That basically black people make up 12% of therapists in the country, and 4% is men, and 7% of therapists are black women. So it's not enough. It's really not enough.
Aren't we like 12% of the country?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we got to be 12% of therapists.
Right, I know.
Shit.
Because it's not like everybody goes.
Just kind of speaking, I think that number should be around, in my opinion, around 25% would be adequate. Because there's a lack of black therapists, period.
Yeah.
It is. And there are a lot of black people who are uncomfortable going to non-black therapists.
Yeah.
And part of, and most of my clientele is not black, but I do know that about 30% of my clientele.
I feel like we could therapize. I feel like we could give therapy to white people, but I don't know if they could give it back. We know them better than they know us.
There are people who have felt that way. There are people that I've heard that have those same sentiments. And that's based on their experience. And I've heard black clients complain the lack of empathy that certain groups give to them when they discuss issues. And the fact that the matter is that, therapists are human too. And a lot of them, they do what's called, countertransference as it relates to how they view a person by how they look or what they perceive that culture, and that's a real thing. That there are people that have issues with that. So that there's legitimacy to think that way.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to our talk in a week or
Oh
two
yeah,
about this.
I'm looking forward to going back and forth with you and discussing it because I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't consider it to be a debate at all. Like, I definitely am under this impression, but I'm not actually like certain. Do you know what I mean?
Right, and at least the one that you quoted from the urban something.
Yeah,
If that sounds like extensive research from what you stated, the way you described it, as
I
long as
think
it
it's the
was,
biggest one. I think it's the
and
most
if
well
that's
regarded
and
one.
I'm
You
very
probably heard
interested
of
in
it
that.
before.
Yeah, and I think that would be definitely something that I need to read because I missed that one. So I need to definitely read that for my
Yeah, like
own.
I said, I'm sure it's full of problems, but I think it's like the best we got as far as like some of the nitty gritty on like a lot of black stuff.
Right, right.
And
I
then I'm gonna
agree.
leave you with this, and I'm gonna hop down. Thanks for having me
Okay,
up.
cool.
As far as like the black therapist, there's this quote. Will you go on pause real quick? I mean mute.
Okay, go.
It's like I'm confusing myself. So James Baldwin, like my favorite author, he has this quote, and I'm gonna butcher it a little bit, but he was talking about how like black people are more empathetic than other people, but it's because like we have to be. And the example he gives, I think it's in his novel Another Country. He says if you go to any office building in America where there's a black guy working there, and of course he wrote in the 60s, so there will only be one black guy working there. And he said if you ask all the white people in that office what they know about the black guy, none of them know anything. They won't be able to tell you anything about him, not one thing, not to name his dog, his wife, his kids, his hobbies, nothing. But if you ask that black guy, he'll be able to tell you like literally everything about those white people. And he said, number one, because white people think that black people are invisible, so they say a lot of stuff around us not regarding us as like another human being. This is James Baldwin. And he said also white people are more empathetic than black people are more empathetic than white people in America in the 60s because we have to be. It's a matter of our survival. Like we have to be able to read their minds and know what they're thinking. And because we're not a threat to them, they just literally don't see us. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave on that and hop down. Thanks for having me up.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, Chaos Rain. I'm about to go ahead and wrap up in a little bit. I'm almost at the 2 minute mark. So you've been kind of quiet listening, and I know that in the manosphere we've talked about skin tone and attractiveness to the opposite sex and the whole thing. And we had some people like Mr. Fent, like they talking about light skinned women, and then we talk about the women across seas that are lighter in Brazil and Colombia. So this is not out of the realm of what we've heard before. We've heard this before, so it's nothing new. So what say you before we wrap up?
I gotta say this, man. Personally, man, I don't advocate racism, but because I'm over in this channel, I think black men should give black women what they want and say, yeah, go date her. Maybe that will fix your problem. Maybe, personally, because these conversations they're getting very goofy about skin tone, who the preference, and then checking data. Why black men have light skin, maybe non-black. I don't give a fuck about all that. Either you're gonna compete a market or you just get what you is your self-worth. You get me? These conversations are people that not competitive. They might be too fucking ugly, and they can't get what they want. See, a black man can't get what he want. Either what happens to black men? Let's go. We're two black men. If we can't get a certain mate in the field, what happens to us? What we do, D-Rap? That's a direct question.
If we can't get what a certain way?
If we can't a certain woman that we like, or like what preference, or not but like a certain woman that we feel that we deserve, or and we don't get that, what we do as a man.
If we can't get it,
yeah, we can't get it.
We'll find something. We'll find it till we can.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, you move on and you try to find. I mean, some guys move and they go to other spaces. They move to other countries. Like they've been doing all sorts of. Yeah.
But the purpose of asking this, there are black people still in the world that are still melanin rich, dark brown and jet black. Correct.
Right.
So if a jet black man, depending if he might look ugly, he might be too big, like 300 pounds or more, and whatever prescription that makes him less attractive, either he's able to get the woman that he wants or whatever, he's going to get either the scrapping or he just tap out. It's not normally goes, right?
Right.
See, that's the beautiful thing about Matt. Either we can get what we want, or we just get the scrapping so we don't get, or we don't just don't participate. We don't sit there argue back and forth saying, all right, there's a data saying that there's a percent of dark skinned black men we can't get these set of women, including women that are lighter hue and stuff, and it's proven in fact. You feel we're gonna run you down or run any man or any person's conversation showing that this is true? We're gonna throw in your face that this is factual. Do we normally do that?
Do we normally?
Wait, mute yourself. Let me repeat myself. Mute yourself so I can step back up. Mute for a second.
Okay.
All right.
Because I'm hearing it, but it kind of like
no, because the echo. Now it's hard for me to explain. I'm hearing my echo. And the echo.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead.
I'm be clear. Now, what I'm saying, I'm trying to be as clear as possible for those that's listening to the replay of this. Will you find any black man want to argue down a man woman about a study that a black man can't get a set of black women because the data shows that she will prefer picking a man that is lighter or pretty much whiter by a certain percentage, rather is 19, 20, 30%? Will you find any black men that you come across, Deidre, or I come across, but let's say you will fight and argue down that this is something that has to be researched? That's my question.
Actually, for I don't see black men complaining about that.
All right.
Online.
Okay.
I have heard in real life some black men that were affected by the fact that a woman preferred a lighter skinned man.
I heard that too.
But not at a level where it's like a large percentage. But no, I don't. For the most part, I don't hear black men talking about that.
Excellent. So the point is this, for clarity, you're never going to find it because men, either we can get what we want or we just either find something else or tap out. It's that simple. When I hear women, and I'm not sure Claire is one of them, but there are women out, and I see the first of many I'm hearing off the internet loudly trying to express that these men that are 15, maybe 10 or almost 1% are picking women that are lighter skin, wider because of the beauty standard. The standard is standard. And if these men are picking them that the media is pushing, is that reflects say that you're going to fight to be a standard that you don't fit, or you're going to just get what you get in the market? It should be a question.
Well, you go with what's in the market.
Thank you.
I mean, what's ever in the market, but I mean, I've had this colorism. This colorism argument is nothing new. I'm gonna have to revisit a lot of stuff because I don't like deal with this a whole lot. But I go back and look at. So this is not something that I like. It's not a big interest, but I do read things from time to time. Yes. But it's something worth discussing, having an intellectual conversation in totality as it relates to the stats and different outcomes of research. And in about a week or so, I'll pick about 5 to 10 studies to look at, and I'll have a conclusion.
You know, Rashida Skrober is well known for this. You heard of her?
Yeah,
right?
no, and she's a person I've known for years.
Do you know she's married to a light skinned man now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So she was married to a darker skinned man at one time. So it's not like she never married a dark skinned man.
No, but you see with her, because she is creating a product by to sell point, she's still able to get a man in the main market that is a black man, correct? To marry.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the argument with a lot of black women that either marry or not marry, try and prove the study? So that tells me you're doomed to get a high percent black man, so you can sit down and rest in your femininity. Is this the argument we're trying to have? I mean, there's some men that will take care and you don't do nothing. You play your cards right. But really, if you don't get that or qualify, you get what you get in this main market. Or you just bow out. It's that simple. Or you go out the market and find other groups of men, which most women are doing anyway, and they've been doing now for more than a few years. They've been doing it longer than that. You gotta get what you can get at the end of the day. Now, me saying that you should probably go out and maybe you should date out and see what the market is. I'm only saying it's because these conversations are getting tired. They're getting goofy and stupid now at a point now. I've been hearing this argument for the same amount of time you've been hearing it, as far as the internet has been around, especially in certain sections of YouTube. And then can you get what you feel that you deserve or able to obtain it? No. Well, you got some work to do. You got a lot of work to do. You get me? Because that day will not secure you any man that you try to see value. Now, if you want to put this just to throw it at your face or my face, saying you black men choose light skin, can you please stop doing it? Pick the dark skin. Pick these. That's mate guarded. You can't force a man to accept you, just like a man can't force to accept you. That's not how shit works, nigga. That's how people gotta look at it. Understand? Now I'm gonna get heat. I'm gonna get some people triggered. I'm gonna get back. I don't give a fuck at this point, personally, because we all know this. Even having this conversation for more than an hour over some nonsense about some data, and you told me personally, dude, you had conversations with a lot of people in the sector, including black men, about fucking data. And if you have not done no fucking research on any data, why are you having the conversation, bro? I'm not a research man. I don't do data and say, here, see this. I don't do that shit. I don't have time for that. If I do it, I'll do it probably for my show for sake of conversation to bring some point and have people to expand more on the conversation. But I'm not gonna sit there to devote time, energy to fight on a point that really, personally, if this doesn't apply to, let it fly. And if it does apply, you got some work to do. Because some of the men that's upper echelon in society, that's in entertainment, athletics, or where, that's not black society. I think black people today, D-Rail, what we're doing that's very dangerous. We're trying to look at people that's in certain fields that we don't control, that give the most or gross the most amount of money at a short period of time. That's not going to sustain black people in America in the long run. If we ran entertain, control it to grip, maybe we could have this conversation, but we don't run that either. So that's how we find people that so-called 10, 5, 1% that's in those areas. That's the question I should ask black people, including the sisters. Because you're more receptive to social media than us. The first you turn on, you see black man with Becky. I don't give a fuck about that right now. He's in a different echelon. Where he's going to be around a certain people that's going to say, or be presented to a mate if he's not married, he might pick them more easily than you. So the best way to alleviate that and to eliminate that, you get him now while he's still at that stage. If not, you're rolling the fucking dice. And last time I checked, I'm not a gambling man. Are you, D-Rail?
No, I'm not.
And I rarely gamble because I know the average and percentage of the chance of winning. If I'd rather give my money to the casino than anything else. They're trying to bank on hitting the super jackpot of what? $250,000 or $1 million or more. I don't like the odds. Yeah. So you know how it goes. And like I said, the chat room will be flooded, like always. But like I said, if you're gonna do this research, I might listen to the show. I might not, because I really, be honest with you, when I hear these colors and talks, it's getting goofy. It's getting stupid. I don't fight points when I look at the environment as is, and I look at people that ask these questions or keep fighting. I look at them and overall their lives say, can you get what you can you get what you qualify? Can you get the mate that you say you want? Oh, it's a black man. Okay, what type of black man? Oh, he's rich. Okay, are you putting yourself in a position? Are you at the right sector, right space? Are you even trying? No. Okay, then that ends the question. If you get him now while he's up there on the top of the pyramid scheme, good luck. Because the next woman that's going to fight is going to be the wider spectrum, mostly either Hispanics or white women or whoever. Race them going to try to get that. And trust me, they will fight for that. So All right, dark. What's it? Do the same shit applies to dark skinned females who will tell you they want a baby who's light eyes and good hair, even if the baby dad is gone? Oh, interesting. Is that a question? Or that's
Yeah, they were just saying like they're saying it's the same thing going to apply to dark skinned women because they're saying that the dark skinned women are complaining about black men in general liking lighter skinned women, but in turn they're also liking lighter skinned men.
Oh, I guess. All right, I can answer that.
Which is a point that I will talk about in my discussion, but I'll leave that up to when that time comes. I will have my research. I have about 5 to 10 pieces of research to analyze and some other different things, and I'll have a discussion.
Like I said, I might listen to that stream when you do it. I might not, depending on my mood. Because, like I said, I get tired of the colorism arguments and the prove fact that black women want wireless women. I mean, okay. If that's what you think and believe, then if you're a dark skinned black woman, which most of them arguing that are dark skinned, you got a lot of work. Either you're gonna get those black men or you just go get a non-black man. You know what I'm saying? And let's be honest, if you're a dark skinned person anyway, especially a woman, most likely you want somebody lighter anyway because you want the baby with good hair and like, all right, so stop it. You know what I'm saying? And think about it. Here's the deep thing about this, Steve, that people talk about. You're gonna produce the same hate that you complain about. Ain't that something? If you get with a non-black man or a man that's light skinned, whatever. What part is gonna be my part of you dark and he's light? Is it gonna be darker or lighter, or is it gonna be some beige? That's the question we can ask ourselves. If it's the other, now you complain about the same thing you're gonna produce. And we have the same conversation all over again. You can't make this shit up. This is insanity. I'm gonna stay away from insane conversations.
Right.
This don't make no sense. I'm gonna get a headache. Yeah, bro. I know you got high blood pressure. I don't got high blood pressure. Thank God. But even if we engage in this, someone's gonna get some out of it. And you're gonna get something. If you get your blood pressure rise, it's gonna rise if we have this conversation. And do shows on this. Multiple shows on this. Because you're gonna pull. By the time you try to or explain your reason, you're gonna be talking. You're gonna be fighting over something. I'm not doing that shit. Hell no. I said, no, you got it. What? You said what? About what I said? You got it. Go ahead. I'm going to argue.
Right. Okay, man. Well, I'm got to go ahead and call it a day, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, guys, it was a very, very spirited conversation today. Shout out to Carrie Ann for coming aboard to talk about what we talked about. Now we're going to have a discussion about black men's color preferences as it relates to black women, as it relates to color complexion and getting married. We'll discuss all of those things in about maybe a week and a half from now. And appreciate everybody for coming in. I'm going to get ready for bed. I'll see you all next week. Peace.